You got some heat last week.
Why? Why'd I get heat?
You didn't read the YouTube comments? Everyone's tearing you up about the Jon Jones thing.
Oh, yeah, they did. People hate, and I stuck up for myself a little bit.
What did you think of the Jon Jones fight?
I thought he looked amazing.
Amazing? A lot of criticism on him saying he looked fat and old. And
well, he looks fat and old, but his skills still showed out. Yeah, I mean, of course he looks fat and old. But he looked
good enough to beat Tom Aspinall.
He looked, hold on, we'll get to that. He looked less fatter and less old than he did in the previous fight.
Yes, but that fight was way shorter.
I know. But so here's the thing is like, I don't know if first of all, he just looked good. He just that little trip put him down.
That was actually really amazing.
He's still so creative, even at, in his old age. He's still, usually you see people young doing cool creative stuff, and as they get older they do less things, which Jon's probably the same as well, but man, he just is that good. Almost finished him in the first. Brutal ground and pound. I
had 2 bets open. It was for like almost 7,000 on Jon Jones to win and round 2 to start, and I'm sitting there like cheeks clenched. I was like, ooh, at any point.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, look, Tom Aspinall is a lot faster and a lot younger than Jon Jones
and Stipe.
But well, yeah, of course. But man, people are like mad that Jon wasn't fighting him. Look, Jon earned the right to fight whoever the hell he wants. And there was a thing the other day about Henry Cejudo with Mario Bautista. And Mario is like, I'm on a 7-fight win streak. You can sign the contract and this and that. And Henry's like, who are you? Like, I'm a 2-division champion.
I hope that fight gets made.
Like, why would Henry fight him? He has no name. Henry can go fight people and make money. Like, he's earned the right. He's going to do what he wants to do. He's Henry Cejudo, and Jon Jones is Jon Jones. Like, he's going to fight who he wants to fight, and he's earned that right. And that was really my point, is like, why people, he needs to fight Tom Aspinall. It's like, Jake Paul is fighting Mike Tyson, and you guys are over here bitching about who should be fighting whom. Like,
well, it's just funny. The second that you start uttering a tsk, he just changes the subject. That was funny. I admit that.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I'm riding with Jon on this.
All right, we got to get started. You got to leave.
Yeah, we got to go. I do want to do just a quick recap because just that last fight card was wild. One, Jon looked great. My picks on the Patreon were horrible because of the props. The props are what David Onama, I was like, hey, he's going to finish inside the distance. And then he didn't finish inside the distance.
That kid looked good. He really good.
Tough, yes. And then Ruffy was supposed to murder
Fat
Yontop, and he just didn't get it done. And then Oliveira and Chandler was supposed to end inside the distance because that's what those two people do, and it ended up going the distance. And it was just like the calls were the right calls, but man, I just like inside the distance, the props of this or that, because you can't bet Ruffy straight up at minus 2 billion, whatever he was at. Same with Onama. So, man, I did not see either of those fights going the distance. So that made me sad, but I don't know. That's where I'm at.
Vivi got it done. That was a great one.
Yeah, she did get it done.
I had a change of heart right as that fight was coming on. And the Marcus McGee fight, I put Marcus by decision and Vivi by decision. Both those were really nice.
The Marcus McGee fight was really weird because Jonathan Martinez just stood there. Have you ever seen him just stand there like that?
A few times.
Like that? He wasn't even throwing the low kicks until the third round.
And he hurt him.
And
the second, he hurt him really bad.
If you had done that in the first round, it was just weird seeing him so not fighting and then finally fighting. It was just a weird...
And hurting him bad. I mean,
then after he hurt him, he just stood there and waited and didn't... I don't know. Like,
no pun intended, but he's probably kicking himself today.
Hey.
Let's get going. Let's get going.
All right, let's get going into this one. This is... are we doing a Road to UFC breakdown?
Yeah, let's do the whole card.
No, I mean, that's pretty much what this whole card is. It's a Road to UFC.
We should have had Haley Alatang in here too.
Oh, man, we should absolutely have.
He loves giving the picks on the Chinese guys.
Oh, does he?
Oh, he's amazing at it. Road to UFC, he crushes it every time.
I wish I knew. Well, let's get into this. Who do we got? What do we got? What are the odds?
All right, so
Let's
fight
go.
number 1, we have Maheshate minus 200 versus Nikolas Motta at plus 170.
I'm actually going to start on this one because Maha has spent a lot of time with us and done camp. I think financially it was a rough. It's hard to stay in America when you're on your, he doesn't make a ton of money, and he spent a lot of money here, so he ended up going back, ran his camp there. But Eddie Chai actually flew out yesterday or today to corner him over there, but he wasn't with us, didn't do anything for this camp. I mean, him and Eddie talked about game plan and stuff, but I love Maha in this spot. It's either going to be a right hand or a right knee to put him away, because Motta is so reactionary and waits and waits and waits. And I think if Maha just gives 1 or 2 feints, Motta's going to throw, Maha's going to pull right hand, fake, bring that knee up. I love Maha here. That's my quick version.
Okay, I'll go Maha too. I didn't look into this one too much. I wasn't sure if we were going to talk about it.
We usually don't. But then, man, like so many people have trained with us at this point.
We would just never do breakdowns.
Yeah, so I was like, he wasn't here for this camp, whatever.
I think fight ends KO is probably a good one. Either side, because Motta is dangerous. We've seen that the last few fights. It's hard depending on his chin to fail, as it did in a bunch of the first fights. So maybe Maha points is actually
it's actually not a bad one. It's Maha points.
Yeah. I'll go Maha. I think he's going to outpoint him. This is a good setup spot. They know the prospect that they have in Maha. He's big. He's strong. He hits hard. I like him.
And they're in Macau.
Cool. All right. Next, we have Long Xiao minus 122 versus Quang Li at plus 102.
Now, I guess I'll go again, but I think for me anyway, I have to qualify a lot of what I say on this whole card, because a lot of these guys aren't known guys. I mean, Quang Li trains in the U.S., fights on LFA, so that we understand the level. A lot of these guys are fighting in China, and so it's hard to tell like how good they are, because we don't know how good the guys they are who they're fighting. And a lot of the Chinese fighters and the Asian fighters as a whole have a lot of losses because they just start fighting. So you see a lot of losses early in their careers. They don't necessarily, the losses aren't really indicative of their skills now, but then there's a lot of mismatches. I'm actually surprised to see the odds in the favor the way that they are. Sorry, I'm trying to get to a name, how I can pronounce it, but Long Xiao. He is fine. Like, I don't think there's anything spectacular about him. He's a busybody. He's a volume guy. He's doing a lot. That said, I don't know really what he's excels at. Like, he's just, he's throwing punches. He's in your face. He will shoot. It doesn't look great. If he gets taken down, he'll wiggle a little. He does a lot, but I don't know where he's good. Whereas Quang, is it Quang Li?
Quang Li, I think.
Quang Li. He trains in the States in Minnesota with Greg Nelson.
Yes.
So we saw him in his last fight. We've seen him in the Tial Thang fight as well.
Don't remind me.
He doesn't nowhere near as much volume. Honestly, I don't even know if his striking is as clean, but he throws bigger punches and just more.
I don't even know if they're bigger. They're just straighter, longer ones and twos.
He
kind of chases guys down and just.
Whereas like Zhang or whatever, Long Xiao is like flurry and just throwing. Yeah. Whereas Li is like 1, 2, big 3. Like he's really trying to do damage. I do like Li's. Fought Gutierrez and look decent doing it.
It's kind of easy to look good against Gutierrez because he's back foot the entire time, and all you're doing is trading leg kicks and small punches.
But he caught those kicks a few times, and he shot in, got the back, took the back. He did a lot of really good stuff there. You could almost give him the first round. I don't look. Gutierrez, I think, won the fight, but if they had given it to Lee, it wouldn't have been the worst robbery I'd ever seen. I like Lee for the upset here. And now, you guys, disclaimer. I'm kind of only saying that because I know the level that he's fought. And then we saw him against Gutierrez. He looks decent enough, and I like his grappling, and he's tough. Whereas Long Xiao, I just don't know. He looks fine, but I can't measure the competition level.
I played Long Xiao here. I can't remember the line, but I played him here. And the reason is exactly what you said. It seems like Long Xiao, first of all, he's at the Shanghai PI. So it's clear they do fancy him quite a bit. He is so much busier. He just kind of runs at you, clinches, throws dirty knees, dirty stuff. One thing that we've seen over Quang's career is he gets tired, he gets worn down. And even in the Gutierrez fight, it looked like he was slowing his volume and slowing down in a striking affair. I mean, it wasn't a ton of grappling and nothing super strenuous. That other guy, I mean, he pushed it for 3 straight rounds, 15 straight minutes in a banger of a fight with so many significant strikes being thrown. So I just like the activity of Long Xiao, and he's not bad anywhere. Like you said, he doesn't excel so much anywhere. I guess I would give him probably the power. I'd give the precision to Lee, but I just think he's going to fill the space and just occupy, and I think he's going to take it.
Yeah, I don't hate that at all.
And the travel too. That's probably something.
That's real.
That's something. Yeah.
Cool. All right. Next, we have Loner Kavanagh minus 360 versus Jose Ochoa at plus 285.
Ooh, this is going to be an amazing fight. I really, really like this one. So I'm going to play Ochoa at some point during the week. I'm going to see what the line gets to. I understand how good Kavanagh is. I mean, that dude is next level. He is phenomenal. Great hands, great grappling defense. Like, he's phenomenal. But this kid Ochoa, like, he's just one of those, like, I know he's not Brazilian, but he trains at Shoot a Box.
Yep.
Just march forward, throw big kicks, doesn't care, good grappling. And I almost worry that Kavanagh is going to start to slow. Maybe Kavanagh has a really good first round, picking him apart and moving. You like these kind of matchups. I know which direction you're going to go because you like the movers versus the Brazilian plotters. But, man, he's a lot bigger than Loner, too. He's a very, very big flyweight. He looks like he's on the nuclear juice from Shoot a Box. I don't think he's going to get tired. I think he's going to throw heavy body kicks, big old punches the entire fight. I mean, at this number, I think it's much closer to a pick'em fight than it is plus 285. So I think there's a lot of value on Ochoa.
Yeah, I'm going the other way on this. Loner, I don't know what the hell.
The Chinaman.
The Chinaman from Britain with a English name. Like, you guys make sense of it because I don't know how to make sense of it. No, I like his power. I like his speed and his head movement, especially in the pocket. He is hard to find. Ochoa as a southpaw.
I love that he just rips that kick across the arms all the time.
So he does, but he doesn't. Like when we saw him in his last fight against Pantoja, Juscelino Pantoja, and he got him with a standing anaconda. It just looked like he couldn't really figure out where, because Pantoja was kind of moving, and it was like, where are you? Are you fighting? Are you with this and that? And it looked like Ochoa couldn't figure that out. And Kavanagh is going to do that, but is going to be much more calculated and actually striking and actually throwing in that type of movement. Not as wild as Pantoja is really jumping around.
Pantoja I thought was a pretty good striker.
Yeah, well, I just mean like the movement of him. It was like a weird thing. You fight some people with this off rhythm, and it's just a hard thing to match.
Get a beat
sometimes,
on.
Yeah. So and then just the watching what Kavanagh did to Antoine. I mean, that was
something
nice. And I mean, I just think the level of competition, you figure Ochoa has not really fought anybody decent. And I know he's coming from Cage Warriors, but he beat a guy who's 6-0, 6-0, 6-0, 4-0, 1-0, 1-0. I mean, I think he's just a more polished guy. I think Ochoa in a couple of years could be good. I think he's just too young right now. I think he's too inexperienced right now. And I think he's going to be very tough, but I think he's just going to be outclassed.
It definitely could be. The only thing I would say with Loner is that he got dropped by the little Spanish guy too. And that guy is not a very good striker, and he's a borderline midget. And so I worry that we saw Felipe de Lima, the other 25er. He came into the UFC and had unlimited cardio and went toe-to-toe with Manel Kape off of like nothing, right? And he was another young guy, unknown guy. So that's what I worry. This Shoot a Box camp, they pumping him full of EPO, and they're big, heavy hitters. They're really big for their weight class. They cut lots of weight. I think all that stuff worries me. And then seeing Loner having been cracked a few times, I just worry about that pressure and the violence. Maybe just late round props for Ochoa.
All right. Next, we have Carlos Hernandez at minus 210 versus Nyamjargal Tumendemberel plus 180.
Try saying that 5 times fast.
Oh, I've already been saying it all day.
Tumendemberel. Like, man, that is a lot of syllables.
This line has been going insane.
What's the line been doing?
Well, Carlos opened plus 385.
What?
And now he's minus 200.
What?
Oh my God, we did this hilarious thing yesterday on APFC. I bet this guy is like an underdog, like plus 200, plus 160. And just for kicks, just for fun, we ran his line all the way to minus 2,500.
No way.
Just for fun. Just so we can do a Gombas tweet. We got this line, close this line, COV King.
Tumendemberel, we'll call him N. I like him. He's tough for a round.
Yeah, he's fun.
Yeah, he's a fun guy, just there, swinging big punches, big throws, big everything. I'm actually surprised to see the line swing as big as it is because I could see Hernandez getting hurt early.
Yeah.
And also losing round one and then enough for round two where he gets round two, but you see the tide shift and then he wins round three. And like, I don't know, we'll call it 90 seconds round two, but too little, too late. They still give Tumendemberel the round. Round three comes on, but it's too little, too late. 29-28.
Kind of like his last fight.
100%. That said, I think his last fight, I think the guy was a much better wrestler and was a lot bigger and just more physically imposing. I do think Carlos will probably fill the space and do a lot and wiggle and move and go and probably win. I like Carlos at a small number and then as a dog, but as a favorite, I don't even know, just because he's such a bad first round fighter that you can almost guarantee he loses round one. You can guarantee he wins round three. And then in the middle, it's like, does he do enough? And what are the odds right now?
We have Hernandez at minus 210 and Tumendemberel at plus 180.
Yeah, like what do you think on those odds? What do you think here?
Well, I just think Carlos is a way better MMA fighter.
Yeah.
If you just look at it, that guy, Demberel, whatever, he's got, like crazy punches over the top. No. He's like super game. Physically, his body is like very soft. And
yeah, but he looks strong, and even though he looks soft.
I don't look soft. Look at these, hey, get the camera. No, he looks soft to me. He looks like, flat body. He looks soft. Not that Carlos is imposing. They're staring in a mirror at each other.
For steroids.
Yeah. They're looking in a mirror, but I think Carlos is just a way better fighter. And so here's actually my game plan. Maybe I shouldn't say this, but I will be taking any and all Carlos Hernandez takedown props that I possibly can get. Because the thing that I love about VFS, the thing I love about Carlos, the thing I love about Bilal is they watch so much tape. And if you watch the tape on he gets taken down every time, and then he stays on his back for long periods. And Carlos is really good at throwing combos up top and then level changing and taking guys down. Honestly, as long as he doesn't get chinned, I see
Carlos is good at finding his way on top as well. Like even after he just scrambles well. He's scrambly, wiggly fucker.
Honestly, I think he's an amazing fighter because he fills so much volume. His striking is really educated. He does set things up. He's got a process on the feet. He's got great takedown defense. And then even if he gets taken down, springs back up. And we've talked about that for a long time. His cardio is phenomenal. Like, it's hard for me to fade a guy like Carlos. I wish he was still a juicy plus number. I would load the boats. But I love him by decision because also he doesn't hit very hard.
Yeah.
As someone who's been hit by him many, many times, he doesn't hit very hard. So I don't see how he's going to finish him outside of maybe a submission.
Okay, I'm in it.
All right. Next, we have Xiaocan Feng minus 325 versus Ming at plus 250.
I did this one.
For the record, you guys, even Chinese women's MMA is still women's MMA. So I didn't.
Nah, that's different.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I didn't film this.
I think the Feng.
But I did film Tabitha and.
What about Kong Wang and Gabriella Hernandez?
I don't know what that means.
That's actually going to be a great fight.
Okay.
And it should be relevant to you because Wang called out Casey O'Neill.
Oh. If I realized who it was, I would have actually watched tape. Yeah, she was tough. Okay.
She's nasty.
Okay.
I like Feng here. I don't think there's much to say here. Feng's a really tall. She's a 5'7" straw weight, big old kickboxer. Good stand-ups. I think Shin is just going to be outmatched here. I mean, she's just like small, kind of runs at you. No process on the feet. I think Feng's gonna cruise here. Probably by decision. I think the other girl's tough.
Okie doke.
Cool. All right, that's that. Next.
See, we're flying through these, you guys.
This is a fast one.
We're not giving a lot of technical stuff here. We're giving a quick, this is what we like, and we're out.
All right, next we have Kiru Sahota plus 116 versus Dong Hoon Choi at minus 136.
Give me your thoughts on this first, because I can't quite figure both of these guys out for different reasons.
Yes.
And I'm curious to see if what you say will sway me. Or
they're both like massively bad, but in different ways.
Yes.
Sahota, it's hard for me to ever imagine him having 11 wins on his record because he has zero power. He's like all over the place. He's honestly too tall for the division with no muscle. He's got awful takedown defense. So the fact that he's won 11 fights is really crazy to me. And
12. He's 12-2.
Okay. And I thought he lost that last fight also. I didn't think he won that fight, nor did I think many people. But the other dude, the little Korean guy, what's his name? Choi?
They're all Choi.
He doesn't proactively wrestle. And so if you don't proactively...
And he's very hittable, and he's just like...
back foot the entire time.
Yep.
So it's hard because, the guy that he fought on, that Sahota fought on Road to UFC, I thought was the better version of this Korean guy. He's stronger, much better wrestler, probably equal in the strike, maybe not as good of a striker, but this guy's a counter striker. The thing about Sahota is he puts up so much volume, and he's big, he's long, just constantly throwing stuff. He's going to be in his face, and obviously the Korean's going to be on the back foot. So really, if the Korean's going to win this fight, it's going to be big counters over the top, and he has to make lasting impact. It's hard at juice here. It's like, I don't think that's a good bet unless you told me he was going to go with a grappling game plan. And even then, like, Sahota has been working his way up recently. So.
And he's so long and tall for the division. And Choi is not.
He's small. He's 5'5".
Yeah, it's
5'5" versus 5'10". I think I like Sahota by decision here.
Yeah, Choi, watching him just be so hittable and not really know what he was doing. The Bisht fight or Bisht or whatever it was.
Sometimes he looks the part. Sometimes he's countering and angling, and he looks great.
But it took him a while before he did, and he was all busted up and beat up. And
I thought Bisht won that fight.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was kind of crazy. I was like, whoa, wait, how did... So I saw that he won the fight before I watched it. And so I'm watching it, and I'm like, all right, round 2 must be... You know what I mean? It's kind of crazy, but he's very hittable. He doesn't cover range well. He's not a volume, in-your-face forward guy. And then you have Sahota, who's just so long and awkward and weird. I think the long and awkward and weird is going to win, not even on skill level, just on the long and awkward and weird
just being
level.
out there.
Yeah, just Choi not knowing how to fight guys that much taller than him. It's like, what am I, 5'10"? Be like if I was fighting somebody 6'6" and just didn't train for it and just showed up. You're like, whoa, this is really weird. So I think it's going to be really awkward and weird. So, I'll go with Sahota with you. But honestly, like, both of these guys seem really bad to me.
This is a very low-level card.
Yes.
Especially a lot of the early fights.
Yep. And these guys, I'm like, man, I can't see either of them doing very well in the UFC. They're running another Ultimate Fighter of 125-pounders. And maybe some of the lower level 125-pounders will be signed and then fight some of these Chinese guys or something.
Let me get on there. Let me audition.
So you're on. You said it. So, all right, let's move on.
Okay, next we have Su Young Yu at minus 150 versus Balgyn Jenisuly. You guys got to bear with me with some of these names. And some of these websites have them in different orders, too. And they're tricky.
First name is the last name. Last name is the first name.
Yeah, plus 130.
Jenisuly is plus 130?
Yes, sir.
I like Jenisuly.
Really?
I think his right hand is really good. He has a really good one, too. He puts power in that thing. Su Young Yu fought actually Toki, who was with us for a good little while.
Oh, did he beat him?
Yes.
Oh, Toki is good.
Yeah, Toki is good.
Toki's good.
Was that
that was on Road to UFC?
Is it Su Young Yu? I want to make sure I'm not screwing this up. No, I'm sorry. Jenisuly beat Toki.
Oh, wow. That's actually really impressive.
Yes. And Su Young Yu beat He had a split decision with Zawapuasi or whatever it is.
Oh, that's him, Tokitaka Nakanishi.
So I like Jenisuly. He's at the PI as well, the Shanghai PI, where our guy Caden Cox is out there. He's actually running wrestling out there at the PI.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, he's been doing that for a while. They're like,
wow, that's cool.
Yeah, so they're paying him to like help wrestle. I think it was a JUCO All-American or something. It might have been JUCO National Champ, something like that.
And one of the best calf kickers I've ever seen.
Yeah. Anyway, so I like Jenisuly. His wrestling's not great, but he will re-wrestle and scramble. And I think his grappling is good enough. I like his punching. I like his power. I think he can actually hurt people. I like his height. I like that he's training at the PI. Su Young Yu, I think he's fine. I think he's very fine. I think Jenisuly is just a little bit, he's just on another level, and I think he can hurt him.
This is my kind of bet that either gets me in a lot of trouble or it pays off a lot. I think Yu passes the eye test way better than the other guy, than the Jenisuly guy. That guy is just a brute. Like, he's always kind of, maybe not off balance, but he's always kind of squared in his stance when he's throwing the big right hands, and it's just like all power. And my thing is that he's got good offensive wrestling. He's like a brute, just running after guys, lifting them. He's a brute offensively, but defensively, he's kind of pathetic with the takedown defense. And once he does go down, he tends to stay there for a while. And this other guy, I played Yu already. He is a little cleaner on the feet, more technical, and that doesn't always mean it's going to win, right? Yeah. He could get bullied pretty easily, but he's more technical. The part I worry about is the cardio, but honestly, I think he's going to fight to get that first takedown, and he's going to ride out long periods of time on top. So I like Yu. I just think he's got a better process and just a little bit cleaner everywhere, but I think he's going to top time him. So Yu by decision is kind of how I'm looking.
Okay.
Cool. All right, next. We have Ozzy Diaz at plus 240 versus Mingyang Zhang at minus 280.
Ozzy Diaz was a favorite against Petr.
Isn't that insane?
I was rewatching that, and they're like, yeah, hearing Yanni the Greek, he's like, yeah, I'm going with the underdog here. He's like plus 190. He was like a size. It wasn't like, I forget exactly. But
I think he was plus 110. It was a pick'em line, really close.
I think it was like plus 150 or 70 or something like that, whatever it was. But it's kind of wild. And then Petr actually just wrestled him the whole time.
Ozzy's he took, honestly, I love that about Petr. He took the path of least resistance.
Yeah. And then, of course, he hurt him, knocked him dead in round two. But it was just interesting. But, man, Ozzy, who did he fight last? It was
Lewis, Bevon. Or his brother. I can't remember.
No, it was Bevon Lewis. And Bevon Lewis won every second of that fight until he was just tired and then just stood there and took a beating. Like, Ozzy is slow. He's not bad, but he doesn't look like he's going to hurt anybody with his punches. He's kind of reactive, and he'll like let people swing, and then he'll plod back forward and clean. I mean, his striking is clean. I don't know if he has kicks. I've never seen him kick. He's a
kickboxing instructor at CMMA.
I know. I'm just kidding, but he just boxes. He's just right in your face, just like jab, cross. He's like shadow boxing.
Yeah.
And then even against Bevon, it was kind of like, hey, like throw. He's literally just on his back foot, running, covering, trying to get air, and you're still not beating him up. Honestly, the best thing I can say about Ozzy is that he defended Piper's jiu-jitsu and submission attack and got back up once in the first round of that fight when Piper is just solid. And then on the other side of that, we've got Zhang, who slept, was it Ribeiro?
Yes. Who you said is?
The scariest human on the planet. We were in the back with Amir. And that dude is back there warming up and doing stuff. And we're all just like looking at this guy. Like, that guy will eat my arm. Like,
I wish his fight style matched his appearance, because it was a really slow kickboxing match.
But Zhang, he's live or die by the sword.
He's dangerous.
He's knocking everyone out or getting knocked out. He's finished or be finished. He's a little wide in his striking and will get hit, which against the long Ozzy is going to not fare well at first until he starts figuring out his range. I think they chose the least dangerous guy they could have possibly found in that division in the world to fight Zhang, who they're trying to tee up and give the best fight that they can possibly give him. I like Zhang here for the knockout. And Ozzy is fine. He's just not a scary guy. And I think when you're fighting a guy who's going to just throw all the fire at you, you've got to have some power to fight that. Because I don't think he's technical enough to stay on the outside and really pick Zhang apart. I think it's going to become a slugfest, and when it does, I think he's going to go down.
I think I'm just confused because you're like the least dangerous guy. He's got 9 wins and 9 finishes.
Dude, it doesn't matter. It's like, take the Bevan Lewis fight. Like, he wasn't dangerous. Bevan Lewis just Homer Simpsoned himself.
I get it. Like, I understand, but he's got 9 finishes, 9 wins.
I don't care.
He's dangerous.
He's durable.
I actually don't think so because Chuck Campbell almost slumped him.
I know. That's the thing is I think it's just the competition that he's fighting.
I'm just laughing. You're like freaking decision machine Ozzy Diaz pillow fist.
I didn't say he was a decision machine. I said he was a pillow fist.
He's got 4 knockouts in a row.
And not
someone grill him, please, on Ozzy Diaz.
No, he's just like,
I'm not even picking Ozzy. I think that he's going to get knocked out.
But, I mean, you're fighting Bruno Assis, just a grappler who's death gassing.
No, Bruno Assis is fine.
Fuck. Chuck Campbell.
Come on, legend.
And then Bevan Lewis. I mean, these guys are like...
I was just looking because I remember Bevan Lewis and how he has fallen. He was like a minus 300 favorite over Trevin Giles.
I know. He was decent. And then I don't know what. Oh, how the mighty have fallen.
He left and then gained like 400
pounds. And that's the Ozzy that's the Bevan Lewis that Ozzy beat, not the scary one back.
I like Zhang. I made a ton of money on Zhang in the Ribeiro fight. I love how he uses his elbows. He is very square in his stance, but he throws all weapons at any range. And I think that's really terrifying. It's a terrifying concept to me. I'm such a slow, let me find my own rhythm kind of fighter. And he's like, fuck it. I'll block here. And then I'm going to throw elbows and knees right where I'm too close and I might get punched. So someone's going to go to sleep in that fight. I do think Ozzy's dangerous. I think Ozzy is a good kickboxer, but Ozzy has looked worse and worse physique wise every fight, in a long time, literally since the Pyfer fight. He was in shape a little bit. Now he's got a little gut. I don't think he's maybe we need to look him up on Instagram, see if he's back in shape, but the gut is not good. He's flying to China. I don't think he's getting set up to walk away with a victory in this fight. And I think he's going to get finished.
Yeah. And he's getting slower and slower as he just is on a technical level, he's fine. Like I said, he just isn't scary right now. He just doesn't.
He really is slow, and he's more precise now than he is like he used to be.
Yeah. All right.
That's going to be a banger fight. What you laughing at over there?
No, I'm a smiley guy.
We're just having a good time.
Yeah.
We like that fun here.
All right, next we have Volkan Oezdemir plus 205 versus Carlos Ulberg at minus 240.
I'm not letting my girl watch this fight. I will turn that off.
No. Where's our Hawaiian shirt?
That was funny comments. I like Carlos to win here. He's got on a good cycle, whatever it is. His cardio got fixed somehow, no matter his fight style. Oezdemir is really good. I do like Oezdemir. That dude can crack. He's a good grappler. He's got a lot of good shit. Maybe I'm talking myself out of Ulberg and into Oezdemir, because if Oezdemir grapples, I think this is something. You got white belt Ulberg, and then you have I don't know, brown belt, black belt Oezdemir, who is a really legit good grappler and has good power. He sees a lot of things coming. Honestly, this is probably a Carlos Ulberg jab fest for 15 minutes. But this could go haywire pretty quickly. I'm just going to pass on this one. I don't even want to pick a winner. I'll go Oezdemir just to be different than everybody else.
I mean, that's funny because I was actually, like you said, it could be, they want Ulberg to win.
They want him to put Oezdemir out, who has shown he can be hurt. And he's a lot slower.
He is, but he can get hurt, but he's getting hurt by Jiri. You know what I mean? And then he's going the distance with Ankalaev. Dude, he's durable, but not.
It's weird.
He'll get hurt and rocked, but he comes back and he does a lot of stuff well. His volume is good. His cardio is generally good. He mixes all of it. He mixes everything well. The wrestling, everything. We saw it with was it Krylov, who just out wrestled him
That guy was a dog too. Just kept pressing him.
And we didn't think that was going to happen because we thought, oh, Krylov is going to try and stand for too long and get knocked out. And he just was on him.
I don't think that Carlos has that kind of gas tank either.
I don't think so either. So honestly, Oezdemir knocked out Johnny Walker, which
everyone does.
I mean, we've all done at this point.
Yeah, I did it twice this morning.
Yeah, Bogdan Guskov, and even that was a clever game plan by him. Now, Ulberg's wrestling takedown defense has gotten a lot better. Yeah. I mean, really, it's
power versus precision in this fight.
Yeah, it's the athletic, just precise striker versus Oezdemir, who's just, if Oezdemir wants to win this, he's got to dog this and just be in his face going.
Chucking overhands, hockey punching him, taking him down.
I could see this really turning bad for Oezdemir very quickly, but I think he can win it. I'm going to stick with Ulberg because I think what you said. I think he knows that he has to fight in spurts, and I think he knows that he's got to like touch and be boring, and I think he's going to be boring unless Ulberg is Oezdemir is swinging on him, and I actually could see him. The only way I see this happening is not like super clean. I see it in actually a brawl, like Oezdemir swinging, he fires with fire.
Yeah,
I'm going to stick with Ulberg, but this could go south fast.
He's A side of all A sides. We saw what Denise last week got crushed. I'm so mad I didn't bet Tybura in that fight too, because we said like, oh, if this is like all things, if this is in a vacuum, Tybura is a massive favorite here.
Yeah,
he can grapple. The other guy's a white belt, and we saw that.
Yep.
All right, next we have Cong Wang minus 800 versus Gabriella Hernandez at plus 550.
So this one I didn't look at. I didn't realize Cong Wang was Cong Wang. Man, she has power. I wish I had power like that. She would knock me out in about 2 seconds, toe to toe with that.
She knocked out Victoria Leonardo. Let's relax.
Yeah, but but it was impressive. Come on.
But it's Victoria Leonardo.
I don't care what it was. She is impressive and tough.
She hit a woman.
That's true. That's
Are they doing gender checks there?
No. It's China.
Yeah. She's 75 years old and she's a kid at the same time.
What do you got on this fight?
Well, I played Gabriella Hernandez. Seeing a plus 600 next to Gabriella Hernandez name in any striking fight is insane to me. I get it. Cong Wang is like the next new thing, and she's probably going to win. But Gabriella Hernandez can crack. I've said this for a long time. Like, I would love to see Gabriella Hernandez fight Natalia Silva. That fight plays out really, really close because she's a hard pressing, good boxer. She's a really, really dynamic striker. And as long as no one's grappling her, every fight is going to be close. I think plus 600 is insane. Hopefully the first round plays out close enough where, then I can get out of the position and get back into Wang or whatever. I just think that's an absurd line. Like, we haven't really seen her go 15 minutes hard at the UFC level. We saw like a couple minutes against Victoria Leonardo. Fernandez, like, she puts boxing combinations together. We just saw her against Carly Judas, and she worked in takedowns and she worked in everything. She's massively athletic. Give me that plus 600 all day on this one.
Okay.
Done.
Data.
All right.
We're making good time, yeah? How many fights
we're going? We're cruising, bro. We're down to our last 3.
We got a couple left. Sorry, guys. We got to fly through this.
We got 2 minutes per breakdown. Let's go.
1, the card sucks, but 2, I got to get out of here because my wife's out of town and my kids are now out of school, and I told them to go to the park and wait for me.
Okay.
Dad of the year.
Yes. So if anyone wants to abduct some children, they're at the park.
In Maryvale.
Oh, jeez. Those are the kind of kids that will abduct you.
All right, next. There's no way this dude's name is Keenan. It's got to be Kanan.
Kanan, yeah.
Kanan.
Yeah.
Okay, Kanan Song versus Muslim Salikov. Song is plus 142. Salikov is minus 162.
Song is Chinese. Not sure if you know that.
No.
So he is the A side here. But that's a tough fight to be the A side with Salikov, because that dude is still good. He's 40. I thought he was slowing down worse than, against in Dalby's fight, he really slowed down, and he was on death's door cardio-wise a couple times. But in that Ponzinibbio fight, he looked decent.
Yeah.
and cardio-wise. I mean, like, now here's the thing: is that was, I believe, at Elevation, and they talked about Muslim showing up months early, doing Elevation stuff, which makes me believe that he's still taking his career seriously. He's going out months early to win these fights and do the right stuff. The difference in those two fights is there was a lot less grappling on a defensive level. So Salikov, when Ponzinibbio would attack and blitz and go, Salikov would shoot, which would stop a lot of Ponzinibbio's offensive attacks. Hold on, you guys. I need to send my child money. So
For drugs?
yeah. So here,
Maryville Park. I know where to get it.
I'll have to edit this. Here, go give us some thoughts. I'm gonna send my child money, and I'll reconvene in a moment.
Okay, I like Muslim Salikov here. I really wanted to like Song Kanan. I thought we were being hard on him because he didn't finish Ricky Glenn and he didn't perform as well as we thought that he should have. He is so low volume and he gets tired so quickly. And like Ricky Glenn is chinny and older than Muslim Salikov, and that was like a not necessarily competitive fight, but it was closer than it should have been. Salikov's a much better striker. He's more serious about his career. Like that guy is clean. So I like Salikov a lot in this spot.
Okay, now that I've sent money, yeah, I mean, he mixes his attacks, the spinning wheel kicks. He's still there. He will wrestle offensively. Defensively, I think his defensive wrestling is what I think gets him tired, but I don't think Song is going to offensively wrestle at all.
Song doesn't have the cardio to do that.
Exactly. And like you said, the volume, and he does have a clean, good guard. He's up. But I mean, we saw it in the Giuseppe fight. If you just stand a little bit further outside of Song's range, he's not very good there. He doesn't close that distance well. He doesn't counter well. He's not making reads well. Outside of Salikov cardio, because the travel, he's going to be flying to China. You're in China. People do not understand how weird travel is. And then the other thing that's really weird too is food. Now the UFC PI should have food taken care of for everyone, for the fighters at least. But man, trying to find food while you're there and food in these different countries and what you eat and what you don't eat. And is this kosher? Is it, halal? Is it, I mean, this stuff is weird. So outside of like travel, time, food, weirdness, I think I like Salikov here as long as he doesn't gas out too badly. But I honestly could see him getting the knockout.
All right, cool. We got 5 minutes with two more fights. Let's get it.
Go. All right, next in the co-main event, we have Xiaonan Yan at -200 versus Tabitha Ritchie +170.
Do you want to go? You want me to go?
I'll go really quickly.
Okay.
This fight originally, like when this was booked, everyone goes, "Oh my God, Yan Xiaonan is gonna kill her. This is gonna be like a crazy tee-up fight, insanity." After watching it, Tabitha gets better and better. She's more comfortable getting hit, more comfortable with the volume. She always has crazy pressure. She always I don't even like her grappling is so weird. Her cage wrestling is really poor. Her open mat wrestling and judo is decent, solid. We've seen Yan Xiaonan look horrible in grappling a lot of times. But even against Wei Li, she was taking Wei Li down. She was throwing her around. She's still very precise. I actually think the grappling will probably be a non-factor here, and we're going to be looking at the volume and the forward pressure of Tabitha versus the precise strikes and power of Yan Xiaonan. This is tough. I think there's probably value on Tabitha at the +170 mark, wherever we are right there. I think Yan Xiaonan's old, and Tabitha is coming up. I think they're probably like, all right, Tabitha, this is your test. Once you hit here, you're at the upper echelon of the division. Like, you're our future star. Really, really tough. I think Tabitha probably on pace and volume, not in love with the pick because she could easily get picked apart. Her striking sometimes is very, very poor.
I think Yan Xiaonan is going to really put it to Tabitha on this. But I actually think, Tabitha could actually, I don't want to say easily win this fight, but could definitely win this fight. But she can't, because the way that Tabitha fights is she's so in your face, pressing forward, going. That's going to be her demise.
She's constantly getting hit, tagged.
Well, yeah, and Tabitha has good judo and she has good takedowns, but it's when people are pressing her. And if Yan Xiaonan was blitzing Tabitha is going to lat drop, hip, I don't know the judo terms of sotogari, or, a hip toss type of stuff, or drop to a level change and go. And Tabitha on top is really good. Tabitha's jiu-jitsu is phenomenal. We've rolled with her. It's legitimately really good. She's like wrestling a smaller man. So it really is good.
Very strong. She hits hard.
On pads and in doing stuff. In fights, I don't think I've ever seen her hurt anybody because she runs in with her punches. And the issue with Tabitha is, and we saw it in the Angie Lee fight, she literally is rushing forward. And so now she's running in and that chin comes up and you can't run and punch at the same time. And we saw what Andrade did, or what happened to Andrade when she tried to blitz Jan.
And you really think about it, Andrade is bigger, thicker, way more physical than Tabitha.
Yes. And so if Tabitha is pressing in, she is going to get hit. And her chin is up and she's rushing in and it's going to help Jan. Now, if Tabitha sits back, she's not going to outbox Jan, so she's going to kick. Jan, we saw it with the Wei Li fight. She catches kicks and times kicks well. So she's knifed that right hand down a few times down Wei Li's throat, and then caught a couple kicks as well. So I think on the outside, she's going to try to kick and she's going to get hit for it. And then if she tries to press, she's going to get hit for it. I think if she would win, or if she has a chance of winning, I think she needs to touch and move away and get Jan pressing her. So that way she can get the takedowns, get the clinch, get stuff using that momentum going in. But I don't know that Tabitha has that in her because she's so forward pressure in your face. So I think Jan is going to win this. And I think it's a
blowout.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, cool. Well, then last one, we have Petr Yan and Deiveson Figueiredo. Are you going to speak on this one? And if you do, just give us one line who you think's the winner.
Honestly, I'm a little torn on this, and I think 5 rounds favors Petr Yan a lot, and I think Yan is going to win. But people don't realize how good Figgy is. He has 3 losses on his record. 2 of those are Brandon Moreno. One of them is Formiga.
Formiga, yeah.
Figgy can wrestle. His strikes are great. Everything is good. Petr Yan, we see it all the time. I thought he lost the first round of his Sadong fight.
And then he picked it up.
He just calculates and waits. I think in a 3-round fight, I could actually see Figgy stealing this. But Figgy can actually, if you look at the Cody Garbrandt fight, very similar styles in the wrestler boxer general sense. And he took Cody down. Well, one, he shot in, took his back. Petr Yan is known to allow that to happen, where he'll shoot, he'll stuff it. He lets people slide up to the back. If he does that with Figgy, that's a bad idea.
He's very good at jiu-jitsu.
Could finish. And yes, honestly, Figgy is probably better at most everyone besides Aljo at jiu-jitsu that he's fought. I think Petr picks it up in round 4 and 5. The thing though is that Petr is so low volume, especially at first, that doesn't wear Figgy out. And I think if he really wants to wear Figgy out, he needs to just press a little bit. His body work is phenomenal. His uppercuts are great. He mixes and stuff really well. I think if he could push the pace a little bit more in round 2 and 3, I think he can probably steal, if not finish, Figgy in round 4 or 5.
I think, yeah, it's going to be a 3rd, 4th, 5th round knockout from Petr Yan. He's going to wear on him. Same way he does to Aldo, same way he did to everybody. There was the one fight with Figgy and Moreno where he looked very, very, very human when he got finished. And it's hard to see a guy who I think is a better, more powerful striker in Petr Yan and a better wrestler than Moreno, not doing the exact same thing. Obviously in a different way, in a different style. But, man, Figgy's getting old now. Up a weight class, and he fought Rob Font and Cody Garbrandt. So those are 2.
And Cheeto. And he looked good in all of those fights.
Yeah. But now we have Petr Yan. This is a different kind of animal, I think. So I like Petr Yan, 3rd, 4th, 5th round knockout, somewhere in there.
All right, you guys, we're out. Go away.